Good evening, my dear colleagues. Welcome to another INGED Zoom Serious Talk. Today, our guest is Aslı Altuntaş. Aslı Hocam is an English language instructor at the School of Foreign Languages at Gazi University. She also works at the Professional Development and Research Unit there. She received her MA from Gazi University English Language Teaching Department, and she is doing her PhD at Ankara University, Department of Computer Education and Instructional Technologies. Her research areas include continuous professional development and interactive technologies in the language classroom. This evening, the title of her talk is The Use of Interactive Technologies in the Language Classroom. Thank you, dear Aslı Hocam, for being with us, accepting to be our guest speaker, and welcome again. The screen is all yours.
Thank you, Hocam. So good evening and welcome to my presentation. I'd like to thank Aydın Hocam and the INGED team for inviting me and giving me a chance to present here. I feel honored. And I'm very happy to see all of you here on a Friday evening. I believe you are all committed to learning and collaborating. Thank you. My presentation is on interactive technologies, so I'd like it to be an interactive one. So please feel free to interrupt and ask anything or share your experiences with us anytime you like. So this is today's agenda. I'll try to give a bit of theoretical information, but I don't want to bore you with all theory, so I'll keep it short, promise. Then I'm going to introduce the interactive tools I use in my classroom. There are 4 of them. And I have one extra tool. If I have enough time, I'm going to mention that one, and I will finish. So let me start with the theoretical part. I'm going to talk about briefly 21st century skills. So you know, recently everyone is talking about the 21st century skills. And I'm going to talk about the technology acceptance model. I say technology in the eye of the beholder, because some people say it's very useful, but some doesn't accept it. And I'm going to talk about the role of technology and the role of the teacher. What are 21st century skills? 21st century skills are a set of abilities that students need to develop in order to succeed in the information age. To hold information age jobs, they also need to think deeply about issues, solve problems creatively, work in teams, collaborate clearly in many media, learn ever-changing technologies, and deal with a flood of information. The rapid changes in our world require students to be flexible, to take the initiative and lead when necessary, and to produce something new and useful. The 21st century skills, as you see in the screen, are divided into 3 categories, which are learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Learning skills are critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, the ability to work with others, and communication. Life skills include leadership, productivity, flexibility, initiative, and social skills. And lastly, literacy skills include information, understanding facts, figures, statistics, and data; media, understanding the methods and outlets in which information is published; and technology, understanding the machines that make the information age possible. I couldn't change this. Okay. And technology acceptance model, we talk about this model a lot in our PhD sessions. It is not a brand new model, actually. It dates back to 1980s. And it is one of the most influential models of technology acceptance, with two primary factors influencing an individual's attention to use new technology: perceived usefulness and perceived ease of usefulness, which mean an older adult, for example, who perceives digital games as too difficult to play or a waste of time, will be unlikely to want to adapt this technology into their classes, while an older adult who perceives digital games as providing needed mental stimulation and as easy to learn, will be more likely to want to learn how to use digital games, for example. So this model tries to, let's say, encourage individuals to use technology. In fact, the integration of technology in education is a highly controversial issue, as I said before. Yes, there are various things we should consider while doing that, but of course, there is the fact that we should admit our students are digital natives, and they cannot live without technology. So we have to keep up with them and grab their attention into our lessons. So we have to accept technology. And that requires getting familiar with technology and integrating it into our teaching. Can you do it in another way without using technology? Yes, of course you can, but why not keep up with the modern world? So that's why here I felt the need to talk about the 21st century skills and technology acceptance model. What is the role of technology? Technology is largely reshaping the nature of education, as it does all around the world, including the way we learn, we teach, we live. So if used correctly, classroom technology can have an extremely positive impact on student outcomes at every grade level. So integrating technology into the classroom not only helps prepare students for the technologically connected world they will face in their future lives, it can also help them simplify complex ideas that might otherwise be a struggle to learn with textbooks and chalkboards, not chalkboards, let's say whiteboards. What kinds of technology can you introduce into your classroom? There are PCs, laptops. Teachers and students are now using newer technologies like tablets, smartphones, smartboards. So let's talk about the role of the teacher. Once I saw a piece of news telling that the most important piece of technology that schools have is their teachers. So when I saw that piece of news, I thought it's really very meaningful. Yes, I believe we should include technology in education, but without the teacher, without a carefully thought lesson plan, technology is meaningless in the classroom. So I believe that first we should plan our lessons carefully, determine the aims of the lesson, the steps of the lesson, and decide on the activities we are going to use throughout the lesson. And then we can integrate a technology tool that will serve our aim. So generally, I try to plan my lessons according to the 5E lesson plan, which includes engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. I'm sure you're all familiar with them. In fact, I'm all for finding 1 or 2 tools for the whole term that work in my lessons, and I stick to them. But it's nice to, sometimes it's nice to have something different in our back pocket. So I have some extra ones I use when I feel bored of one tool, for example. But generally, I try to use the same tool all through the term because students feel familiar with the tool, then they will feel safer and they like being on the safe side. So I don't use different tools every lesson. I'm going to show you, I'm sorry, 4 of the tools I use in my classes. Are you familiar with any of them?
Nearpod, really very good application. I have benefited a lot, Aslı Hocam.
Which one?
Nearpod.
Nearpod, yeah.
It offers great opportunities to the learners and teachers.
Yes, yes, hocam. So let me start with ClassPoint, the first tool. So it's an interactive tool. It's a PowerPoint add-on, and it's very easy to use. You can run interactive quizzes and collect the students' responses, and you can see them live on your teacher board, and you can save the data. So what is the tool? As I said before, it's the PowerPoint add-on. It's an interactive quiz in PowerPoint. It offers interactive question types. It's a quick poll which do not require extra preparation. I'm going to show you in a minute. How do I use it? I write my questions in my slides, or you can even use it without writing your questions. You can ask them orally and want your students or the audience respond. You can choose the question type from the ClassPoint toolbar. I'm going to show you. Why do I use it? It's quite practical, time-saving. You can insert results as slides. You don't have to prepare before the lesson. And you can see students' answers on the teacher leaderboard. So yes, it meets my expectations because it's very easy to use. To show that, I'm sorry, I'll open up. Yes. You see the tab here, class point tab. You click the class point tab and you see the toolbar here. You can choose the question type, for example. Let's choose this one. Yeah. Then what you have to do is just you click on the, oops. Oh, I lost it. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute, okay? I have it in my other slides. My next tool is Google Earth Education. Have you used it before? I'm sorry. Yes, this is the web page, Explore Google Earth. You know, we have Google Maps and Google Earth, two different applications. They seem similar, but they were designed for totally different purposes. One of the software programmers of Google Earth described this in a nice way. He said, Google Maps is for finding your way, whereas Google Earth is about getting lost, because there are countless types of things you can do with Google Earth. You can, for example, type any place here. Let's write a specific place. London Eye, for example. So you can, yes, we have 2D and 3D options. If you use a 3D option, you can pan around the buildings. And you see the man icon here. You drag and drop it in any place you like. And you go into the street. So you're in London, near London Eye, and you can use it for very different purposes in your classes. For example, you can give a sheet of questions to your students, and according to the map, they can answer the questions. You can prepare a tour, adding different places, and you can ask them to prepare a project. This Voyager option is a very nice one. There are games here, which you can have your students play. And there are some detective games, for example. They are very interesting. And we have the education section here. There are sample projects here. You can choose one of them, or you can create your own project with your students. I don't have time to show you all of them. If you're interested, you can explore for more. You can have your students play a scavenger hunt, for example. You can give them coordinates. They search the coordinates, they find the place, and they can answer the questions you give them, for example. I have coordinates here. You can prepare questions like, which river is near this famous building, for example, or bridges. You can ask specific questions for them to answer. So it's a very live and interesting way to interact for students. Let me turn back to my slide. I don't know what's happening. So, what is the tool? Google Earth Education. It's 100% free. It can help visualize abstract concepts across a global canvas. It includes virtual tours, measuring, Voyager, and time-lapse features. How do I use it? I create tours for my students related to different subjects or concepts. I provide them with questions and I ask them to complete them during the tour. We do projects together. It has a storytelling feature. You can use that also. And as I showed you, it has different games like detective games. It is practical. It is engaging. It brings the whole world into the classroom. And it has various different features that makes learning fun. So I prefer using this application. And yes, it meets my expectations in that way. Here you can see the time-lapse option. It shows the, for example, you go to glaciers and it shows in time how glaciers melted. Or you go to Dubai and you can see the growth of the cities, the change of the cities in time. And it has some lesson plans you can use. So I'm going to ask you at the end of the session for all applications. Pear Deck is another application I use. It's a Google Slide add-on. You can use it with Google Slides. It has a template library with ready-to-use slide templates. So it's very easy to use. How do I use it? I prepare a Google Slides presentation. I open the Pear Deck add-on. I choose suitable templates for my lesson, and I customize them according to my lesson. Why do I use it? Because it's practical, it's creative, it's interactive, and there are ready-to-use templates, so it's easy to use. I'll show you some examples. You can see the question types here. This is a story map organizer, for example, and type of templates for the beginning of class, during class, and end of class. There are more options, but I can show only these here. If you're interested, you can go to the web page and check. And my last tool is Nearpod. As Bülent Hocam said, it's a very comprehensive and useful tool. You can use it as a Google Slide add-on, and you can use the website to create a lesson. It's easy to create free and quick digital online lessons. It has live formative assessment and has open-ended tasks. How do I use it? I can create slideshows from scratch, or I can choose a pre-made lesson plan from the library, or you can also upload your PowerPoint presentation and adopt it on this web page. You can use it synchronously during your lessons, and you can use it asynchronously. You can assign to your student as homework. Why do I use it? Again, it's very practical. It's creative. It's customizable. It's interactive, and it is a formative assessment tool. So yes, it meets my expectations. Now I'll show you some examples. We have two types of activities here. We have activities for forming the lessons, and we have activities for practicing. On the content tab, we have these types of activities, like you can insert videos from YouTube, or you can use BBC videos. There's a field trip feature. You can use web content. You can use 3D feature. You can upload audio materials, and you can also upload your PDF files. For example, let's say you have a reading activity as a PDF file. You can upload it as a slide, and students can do it interactively. On the activity side, we have, I'm sorry, time to climb feature, which is a type of game. We have open-ended questions feature, matching pairs. We have quizzes, quiz feature. We have collaborate board. You can form polls here. You can ask fill in the blanks type of questions. You have the memory test option. So there are various types of activities on Nearpod. So if you're interested, please go to the Nearpod page and explore the page. So, do I have time, Hocam?
Yes, you do have time, Aslı Hocam.
Okay, I have one more tool that I'm going to show it. It is Canva for education. Have you used it before? Yes. The educator account is 100% free for teachers, but you should use your edu email address for that. That way you can access all templates, and it has the option to integrate your files to Google Classroom. How do I use it? I choose a template. They are fully customizable. I customize them and I use it in my classes, or I assign them as homework. This one is also a very practical tool. I can assign them through Google Classroom, so I love this feature because I use Google Classroom a lot. There are various different tools in one single platform. I'm going to show you some examples. And templates can be turned into interactive assignments. So I love using these types of things. I'm going to show you some examples now. For your presentations, you can use various types of different templates from this page, education presentation page. You have the option to choose from the Bitmoji classrooms. There are group work templates you can customize, different types of group work activities. There are a lot of graphic organizers. And you can make videos on this page. And your students can prepare videos very easily. And there are English worksheets page. You can customize. So these are all of my tools I use in my classes. So what do you think of these interactive tools? Do you already use them in your own teaching, or if not, would you consider trying them? Bu arada hocam ben şey göstereceğim. Hocalarım yazıyorlar sanırım. Class point'i gösteremedim. Onu göstermek istiyorum.
That's okay. If you want to show it, you can, because we still have time. And I believe people would love to see that. And in the chat box, people say yes. Some people use some of the apps here. There's one question here. Is the free version of Nearpod limited? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Merve Hocam, maybe you can, I don't know, try it.
Yeah, actually, I tried it some time ago, but you know, these tools are being updated all the time.
I know.
Maybe the new one has more features now. But when I tried, it was very limited. I could only create one or two games to climb that mountain. As far as I remember, I just wanted to ask Aslı Hoca if she has used it.
No, I don't remember as well.
Okay. I'll check the new version. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
I couldn't help you. Allah Allah. Yes, technology is full of surprises.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in the chat box. I said the curse of
Really?
technology.
Allah Allah. So. Something went wrong, but I don't know what. Yes.
Well, in the classroom, things can go wrong. No big deal. If you have something to compensate
Yes.
for that, there's
I
no, it's okay. You know,
Mhm.
we are dealing with human beings and technology, which can be really full of surprises.
Yes. So if you click twice on the and we have time limit, you can play with the
Mm.
limit here.
Mm.
You ask the audience to go to classpoint.app and enter the code here.
Mm.
And as they enter their responses, you see them on the board, on screen. And you can save their responses. So you don't have to prepare anything. You just press the button and use it. So it's all I can tell for now. Oops. Thank you for attending the session.
Thank you very much, Aslı Hocam. It was very, very informative and beneficial. By the way, I have seen İhsan Hocam's remark here. He says, as far as I know, Nearpod is 95% free, but has 100 MB limit.
Megabyte.
Yes, megabyte limit. Yes, Nurda Hocam says, wonderful ideas. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, like Mentimeter. Mhm.
Yes. We'll use it in English version. It will be prepared.
Well, this one is easier to use.
Yes.
And it's integrated in the PowerPoint application, so it's more practical.
Aslı Hocam, at Gazi University, the Foreign Languages, School of Foreign Languages, do teachers individually use digital tools, or does the materials department help the teachers to prepare such activities?
No, hocam.
No,
They
it's
use it individually. Mhm.
individually. Okay. Isn't it a burden for the teachers? Because they also
Not-
need to
Mhm.
follow a certain syllabus,
Of course, but
right? Mm. They can easily
Thank you.
implement it.
I have my student here, Berat. Thank you. Yes, it's a burden, hocam, sometimes, but we try to choose the most practical ones.
Yeah. And
Otherwise-
what you do, I believe, is like you implement these digital tools in the
Mhm.
syllabus. So it's like you're not
Mhm.
neglecting the
Of
aims
course.
or goals of the syllabus, but
course.
you're just kind of feeding it with
Of course.
these. Yeah. Okay. My dear colleagues, if you have any questions for Aslı Hocam, or if you have any remarks or any suggestions, please feel free to raise your hand and unmute yourself if you have your mic accessible. If not, you can use the chat box and we can read what you write here in the chat box. Because we still have time, we can easily talk about your ideas, share. Berna Hocam, is there something that you would like to say? Aslı Hocam, if you're done with sharing your screen, can you please close it so that we can
course.
see?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Sedat Hocam, let's hear Berna Hocam first, if that's
Yeah, of
okay
course.
with you.
Yeah,
And
of
then,
course, of course.
yeah, and
Mhm.
then we will hear your question.
Aslı Hocam, thank you for this great content. Really,
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Have you used Google Slides add-on recently for any unit in your teaching? I mean, can you share that with us?
Just a moment, hocam. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes,
Yep.
you
You
need
are,
to
yeah.
stop sharing
Okay.
using the bar. You need to stop
Yes,
sharing.
yes.
Okay.
I
I
think she's
will
gonna show
find
something, huh?
Google Slides. Hocam I will inşallah.
No
I
worries.
just imagine myself in that hammock.
That's the only thing we can do right now, Bena Hocam. Imagine.
I don't know. Let's open this one. Yes, hocam. It doesn't work. This is one file shared with me. Let me see. Yes, hocam. Do you want me to show the add-ons?
Yeah, if you, yeah, why not?
Don't show me any grammar slides, please. Please. It's a
No, I
nightmare
don't use
for
Famous
them.
me.
report to
I
Steve
don't
Jobs.
use them, but
It's
they
a
are shared
nightmare.
with me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hocam nedense bulamıyorum.
Are we looking for add-ons?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, you can share something you used very recently. It doesn't have to be add-on maybe. Yeah, and it's something that you feel that worked in class.
With Google Slides.
Sorry?
With Google Slides, you
Yeah.
say.
Or whichever is easy for you to find.
For example, this is related to Google Earth.
Okay.
Add-ons here.
Mm.
Hocam, it's like PowerPoint presentation.
Hmm.
Mesela. Eklentileri göremiyorum nedense. Bir sıkıntı var ama anlayamadım.
Tamam, önemli değil.
Here you can see the add-ons. You choose the one you want to use and you see the page here.
Hmm.
So you choose from above them.
Okay.
I guess you need to try it, Bena Hocam, and find
Yeah, yeah.
yourself,
Mhm.
because sometimes this is, I mean, now Gökhan Hocam and Sedat Hocam, they're going to be pretty cross with me. but I never trust technology. I never trust that. You know what happened to me? I was the plenary speaker, the first speaker at an international conference, and I had prepared a wonderful presentation, all based on visuals. And then the projector in the conference room hall didn't work.
Oh my God.
And I found myself, and this was at Gazi. I don't remember where
Yes.
do you
Yes,
remember
hocam.
that
I remember.
horrible day? I was in the middle of this huge hall without any presentation, because everything I prepared was based on the visuals, because it was like your perception. So I was going to show something and discuss how they perceive the picture, the visual. It was all gone. And I found myself bubbling and, giving a stupid talk for an hour. So technology is
You were
like my
great, hocam.
ex-husband. Never trust, never trust.
And it happened to me now.
Yeah. So everything has to be in the traditional manner, just in case, like Aslı Hocam said, in your back pocket, you need to have something traditional, just in case. You never know. You never know. Sedat Hocam has a question related to 21st century skills. I don't think that it is Aslı Hocam's area of expertise, but we can discuss it together.
Yeah,
How about
of course.
that?
Of course, of course.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Sedat Hocam.
Yes, as you said, this question is not for Aslı Hocam, but for all maybe.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
21st century skills is very popular nowadays. And tomorrow, for example, I will be presenting at Middle East Technical University, and I saw that there are some presentations about the 21st century skills. But I'm quite doubtful about this term actually, from two perspectives. The first one is, for example, for the 21st century skills, we can say that we have critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication. But we also know that even 200 years ago, these were all important as well. For example, when we are talking about Piaget, Vygotsky, we are talking about collaboration, creativity, communication, critical thinking. So can we still call them as 21st century skills? Did we discover them after 2000, after the year 2000? This is one perspective, and the other one is actually these skills were announced in 2009, almost 13 years ago, and assume that we were living in 1909. Just before the First World War, and so you haven't experienced Second World War. You don't know anything about the television, the internet, and you are writing skills for the 20th century. And this is something like this. So here they are writing skills for the following 90 years. And for example, can you imagine that in 2019, before the COVID, can anyone guess these online education, online seminars? We cannot know even a year later. So how can we trust these skills for the 21st century skills? In 2050, these skills are still important for us. So these are fancy terms. Actually, people like these terms, like digital natives, digital immigrants. Actually, there is no theoretical background behind these terms, but we like these. Or Philip learning. I had also some presentations about Philip learning, but actually, when I was at high school in 1990s, our teachers were assigning us some articles, some reading materials, and we come to class having prepared with the material. So actually, I'm a bit doubtful about these 21st century skills, but it's quite popular, as I said. Everyone is talking about 21st century skills. I just asked this question not to Aslı Hocam. This is
Well, Sedat Hocam, you know me. Since the
Yeah.
day they came up with this term, I have been criticizing this term.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not
Mhm.
talking about technology. Technology,
Mhm.
of course, keeps improving, changing, and
Mhm.
it's really very hard to catch up with it. So you may categorize it under
Mhm.
21st, 22nd, I don't know. But the other skills that we are talking about, these are normal human being skills.
Yeah.
But can you imagine a primitive man trying to invent a wheel, without having these skills? They did that.
Yeah.
They had these. In fact, those who had these skills
Mhm.
became inventors,
Yeah.
right? So they came up with wonderful ideas. I think, I don't know, I have distinguished colleagues here. I don't know what they think, but what I believe is we have started discussing them later. So we
Mhm.
had to find a term for them. Critical thinking skills. I mean, a normal human being should think critically, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Right? Please pay attention, underline the term normal. Okay, there are
Mhm.
abnormal beings. I don't know whether they can be categorized as human or not, but they don't even use their brains. So
Mhm.
I think it is just because we have started discussing them recently, we wanted to give them a name.
Mhm.
Emotional intelligence. What? Can you imagine a human being without emotional intelligence? Is that even possible? Right? I'm sorry. I get so angry, when people come up with these fancy terms and become very famous.
Yeah.
Please visit our YouTube channel. I have a full video series on that. The so-called 21st century skills.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right.
So I guess,
I don't know, John.
yes, sure, Ben Hocam.
For me, happened when I first heard the concept comprehensible input. Yani Krashen hadn't done any research, and
Yes.
as far as I know, he hasn't done any research.
Yes,
But it became like the Bible. Everyone was
yes,
quoting the
Yeah.
monitor hypothesis, affective filter, blah, blah, blah. Hadn't anyone talked about affect before?
yeah.
Zillions of people had. Ama bu tuttu işte yani. And everyone
Marketing,
citing. Marketing bence de.
yes.
Mhm.
He's still one of the most famous, scholars. I keep saying I+1. People have been saying this for ages. Vygotsky in the 1920s, for
Yeah.
God's sake. But
Yeah.
he just knew how to market it.
Absolutely.
And now he is so famous, he Krashen everywhere. Krashen said this, Krashen said that. Krashen does not say anything that we don't say. But our name is not Krashen. Okay? I keep
That's right.
saying, you know me, Ben Hocam, you know me, Sedat Hocam, Aslı Hocam.
Yeah.
I hate using L1 to explain L2.
Mhm.
L1 has its own use. Okay, I'm not going to give a lecture on this, but if you are teaching L2 or foreign language, whatever you know, please don't use L1. What the heck, right?
Yeah.
When Krashen says this, it becomes a holy saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But when I say it, it's just, I don't know, again, mumbling and bumbling over there. I keep saying, please stop teaching formal, context-free grammar.
Mhm.
Grammar has meaning only in context. Don't isolate it. I keep saying that. No one cares. Krashen says it. Oh my God, Krashen, we love you. We adore you, So
We never thought that.
maybe I will have a plastic surgery, I don't know, a series of surgery to look like Russian. And then people pay attention to what I say. I don't know. Because
Yeah.
this is, as Bena Hocam has said, this is common sense. This is common observation. There have been some research, but when you're dealing with human beings, research is not always that meaningful.
Mhm.
You're not dealing with solid scientific beings. You're dealing with emotional beings, okay? So this is a known common observation. If you know how to market it, 21st century skills, people will buy it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, fill in the blanks.
Actually, I think we were expecting too much from the 21st century, the 21st century, because when I was at Anatolian High School in 1991, in future tense, for example, we have some examples like in 2000 we will travel to space. We will have
Yes.
flying cars or something like this. But in 2000 we had the earthquakes and we were in a tent. And we were expecting too much from the millennium because it is a turning point. So with the 21st century, we all discovered new things, and I think it didn't met our expectations.
Yeah. I think what Aslı Hocam has mentioned here, she gave some examples.
Yeah.
And I believe when she was giving these, how to use these digital tools and everything, I just reflected on my own personal experience. Some of them are scary for me because sometimes change is scary. Unknown is scary. If I'm not competent in that, I may look a little bit stupid in front of my students. I don't want to do that. So I think we can generalize from that point. Sometimes teachers are afraid of change because they are not familiar with what they're going to do in the classroom. And unknown is always a little bit, what am I going to do? Like right now, for example, Aslı Hocam has tried so hard to show us, demonstrate how to use a certain tool, but then it just didn't work for some mechanical reason. But see,
Hocam, I have some different accounts and I don't know which one I added these add-ons. So I think I found them. But before I use them in the classroom, I watch tens of videos. I try to use
I have
them.
no doubt about that, Aslı Hocam. I know, I have attended your seminars before. I have listened to you. What I'm saying is, you are familiar with what you're doing, so you're not scared. So even if you fail, even if you make a mistake, you can always say, well, you know what? I don't know which account I used that. Let me find it. Let me see. That is something that you can overcome. What is scary for me is I don't even know what you're talking about. Can I make myself clear here?
Yeah.
That's what is scary. I think that is the first, this is the 21st skill that we need to have. Do not be afraid of trying out new things. You may fail, that's okay, but you will manage eventually, right?
Of course.
Eventually. So I just try to generalize from what, if you have found your add-ons, if you want to share with them, if you want to share them with us, we are more than ready to see. Yes,
Yeah.
Sedat Hocam. Fail, first attempt in learning. Excellent. Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. Bena Hocam, you are going to get your answer now. Are you excited?
Yes.
Hocam, can you see?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yes, these are the question types. It needs to be updated, so that's why it didn't work.
Okay.
Yes. You write your question here. Then when you start your presentation, you share the code with the students. They enter the code and they can write their responses. And you see the responses here. You click on this tab and you can see the responses. And no. Here is the template library. For example, templates for the beginning of the lesson. You can choose from among them. For example, this one. You can change the question here. Students are supposed to like or don't like the activity, for example, according to the question here. They respond, they put one of these in the places given. And they drag and drop the icon. And when you should push the present button. And then when you click on the students section here, you see the results. There are different types of activities. You change the question here and you use it. Students see the page on their screen, they type their responses and you see it in real time on your screen. So
Nice.
during the lesson.
I guess you can also use these for conferences, huh?
Of course.
Okay.
Okay. So on their screens, they see dots. They put the dots in the place they like. And you see it in real time on your screen.
Yeah, very nice.
True, false, for example. It's practical because they are ready to use materials. You can just customize them and use them in your lessons. Like that. Hocam.
Thank you, Aslı Hocam. Thank you very much. Bena Hocam, are you satisfied or is there anything that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, great. Ali Hocam, is there something that you would like to ask? Please go ahead.
Hocam, thank you very much. I want to talk about change a bit. Change itself is inevitable because time changes. Our beloved planet is changing every day, every second.
Yeah.
So adapting new technologies, new tools is important, but it's not only important, the purpose. I mean, our new tools, the new technologies should be inclusive, not exclusive. And they shouldn't be polarized, they shouldn't be politicized, or they shouldn't cause any segregation in all the fields. Thank you very much.
Thank you. True. Well, actually, I'm going to add something. Technology is inevitable. Change is inevitable. definitely. Every now and then, please use traditional things. Because sometimes, especially with young children, there's so much exposure to technology. Sometimes something simple, something very traditional, like a paper doll, can be very fascinating for them. For example, reading a story from an old children's book can be very fascinating for them, rather than playing a video on a YouTube channel. What I'm saying is, yes, of course, adopt all technologies, all changes, and adapt, but every now and then bring in some old, nostalgic, traditional things just to bring color. The good old smell of paper, the good old, let's read something together, sharing a moment like that. With all these technologies, if I can find, I use overhead projector. I don't know, maybe some of you do not even know what it is. Some very young colleagues
do,
I
hocam.
have. Yes, I know.
I'm not that
Aslı
young.
hocam.
Nice.
Overhead projector, it's really very hard to find it nowadays, but it's an excellent device to perform shadow theater.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's not the same feeling when you use the computer or the programs, the cartoons, but the shadow theater. Ben Hocam will remember the story, Jimmy's Day on the Farm.
Yeah.
I use OHP to tell that story where Jimmy is like a karagöz. It's a kind of a shadow with a piece of stick, and I play it there on OHP, and they can see the shadow on the screen, and they love it. They love it. It's so primitive. They love it. So that's what I'm saying. Variety is always nice, right?
Yes hocam, you're right. Yani I am an old-fashioned person aslında, but
It's not
students,
old-fashioned. Come on.
they never leave their phones aside during the lesson, so you feel the need to
I
help them
think we
use
are
it in a
talking
meaningful
about
way.
a different age group, Aslı hocam.
Mhm.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
I know,
young
I know,
learners, and
I
you're
know, I
talking
know.
about
Mhm,
young
I know.
adults.
Yeah.
So we are talking about different groups. Young learners are
Mhm.
like children. Yeah, of course they love technology, but they also love doing physical things,
course.
playing
Mhm.
games. Unlike young adults, yes,
Yes,
they
yes, I
are
know.
like technology dependent. So
Yeah.
I can understand your point, but I still have hope for children. I know, Defne hocam, yes, you're right. The bulb would get hot, very hot, too quickly with the old OHPs. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right.
Tepegöz, Ali hocam. Yes, that is the Turkish word for that, tepegöz. They were heavy. They were huge. We had to carry them to the classroom ourselves. We were like bodybuilders. Remember, Bena hocam?
Bodybuilding.
Are there any other questions? I mean, this has become a wonderful interactive session where we discuss everything,
Yeah.
not only technology, not only the interactive technological tools, but everything. So if you have anything that you want to say, please go ahead and do that. This is what makes Inget sessions different, I believe. It's always like, we welcome your contributions. Touch the objects we use in our classrooms. Yes, that's right.
Aydan Hocam,
Yes, Bülent
I
Hocam.
would like to point out one issue regarding there is a breach between teaching and assessment. As all these wonderful tools are really embedded across the curriculum through technology-based applications. But when it comes to the assessment and evaluation, there is other parts of the story turns out to be. So this is a human psychology, 10,000 years, our brain are wired in a way we don't want to leave our comfort zone. In that sense, if the final or evaluation is not integrated into these interactive tools, and it stays a bit out of context. This is what I feel.
I totally agree with you. Aslı Hocam, do you kind of integrate these tools to your assessment process?
No, hocam.
No.
Yeah.
But they are, I believe, integratable. Is that even a word? I
Yes, it
don't
is.
know.
Yes, they are.
I guess maybe you can assign tasks.
Yeah, I do.
You have already mentioned project work
Mhm.
in your
Yes.
presentation. So do you grade those projects, for example? Do they get a mark grade
no.
on those?
No.
Maybe
No.
you can.
Hocam, our
Okay, administration.
yeah.
Okay. I know the
Aydan
answer.
Hocam,
Yes, Bülent Hocam.
in Turkey, I think culture-specific issues prevails the other things because in our community, education generally is based on subject-specific practices.
True.
If it goes through concept-based, for example, we always focus in our secondary education, primary school types of wars, but when you follow one international program, you see that all the distraction focus is just on the big picture. So sometimes we lose the sight.
True. True. I don't know. Maybe we should also have a kind of an assessment session. If you know any expert on that, we can invite and ask this person to talk about how to integrate these into assessment, because assessment is a general term. We're not talking about evaluation, we're talking about assessment. So we should find a way, but I believe it should be a part of the school policy as well, because as an individual teacher, Aslı Hocam may want to include that to the grading system, but if the school says, the administration says, no, you can't, how is she going to do that? So I think there
Hocam,
should be.
you know, we have testing and assessment unit, and they coordinate the exams, so we don't have that.
I love that, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, when universities say we have a testing unit and they prepare the exams, and I go like, who are they? And they say, it's, you know, teachers, our colleagues. So I say, why are they so different? Why do they treat themselves as others? Don't they know the reality? Don't they teach at the same institution that you teach? So why can't you work in cooperation and collaboration rather than people seeing them as, I am the unit. I will do this way. Well, I don't know. Maybe Bülent Hocam is right. There are so many cultural issues we have in this society. We need to first understand that work becomes more successful if it is done together rather than a power, you know, imposing But we have a long way to go.
Still.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know,
Still.
Benauja.
We have a
A
long way
very
still.
long way.
Can you imagine in 2022?
Yeah, so Dr. Jam, maybe we should start talking about 23rd century skills. Yes. They don't trust the student. Yes, you're right. But they don't even trust the teachers, believe me.
Who are you
İhsan Hocam.
referring to when you say they?
İhsan Hocam says, I think they don't trust the student, unfortunately. And
He's
I'm
my
saying,
student hocam.
yeah, and I'm saying
They who? They is who? They?
the administration, I
Ah,
guess,
okay.
or the teachers. And
Mhm.
I'm saying, İhsan Hocam, believe me, they don't trust the teachers. Whoever that they is, they don't trust the teachers either. So don't worry. No one trusts each other. Isn't that an ideal society? We live so peacefully in this ideal, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I do agree with that part of the statement. Okay. I'm gonna close the session now. After I close the session, if you want to stick around and have a friendly discussion, we can do that. Aslı Hocam, thank you very much for this wonderful
Hocam.
presentation.
Thank you.
We learned a lot, but I know that we have a lot to learn because there's
I
no
don't know, Hocam.
end in learning. Yes, Bena Hocam.
Maybe she should give us a series of sessions on technology.
In fact, Sedat Hocam next week is going to give us another session related to technology, but he's going to have another perspective. Gökhan Hocam, are you still here, Gökhan Hocam? He has given 2 sessions on insects.
What?
He killed me. He killed me with that insect 3D design. Gökhan Hocam, that was my nightmare. No, I'm just kidding. Augmented reality. He gave wonderful presentations. It
I
was
watched
really
it.
amazing. Yeah. If you're interested, Bena Hocam, we have the videos on our YouTube channel, Inget YouTube channel. Wonderful presentations. But again, their presentations, we need to practice to get better. Because, as I said before, we learned a lot, but that we have a lot to learn as well. Yes, I mean, so please, if you have time, if you do not have any other plans, please attend the seminar, the session next week as well, because Sedat Hocam is also a wonderful teacher in this area. In fact, he's very good with slow learners. He was very patient with me.
Slow learners. How about
Yes.
silly learners?
Well, I was trying to be politically correct, so I said slow learners.
Okay.
And he was so patient, so understanding. He was always encouraging me, saying, okay, it's only normal. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. So there's no you don't have to worry about anything. That's what I'm gonna say. And you will learn a lot from him as well. I do appreciate your contributions a lot. Thank you very much. Aslı Hocam, thank you again. Thanks a
Thank you,
million. My dear colleagues, again, I don't know how to thank you because without you, these sessions do not mean anything. So please keep following us. Please keep supporting us. And I hope to see you next week again with another guest speaker. Aslı Hocam, would you like to say farewell as well?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone for being here at this time of a Friday.
Thank
I have a
you.
session tomorrow. Get lost.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Aydın Hocam. Bye. Bye.